Fred Rosser on his Twitter essentially gave us a topic because he said that WWE are filming an Untold special on the Nexus, and obviously 11 years ago they debuted in WWE in the summer.
Yeah.
So I guess let's just talk about your memories of the Nexus then. You know, when you covered it for the magazine, they came out famously at the end of Raw in Miami, I think it was. Here is a photo of them, completely natural with no airbrushing whatsoever. Um, which
And
you know,
completely, and Kenny, completely natural in the other sense as well. Every
yes,
single one of
no,
them.
nobody's been down to Holland and Barrett whatsoever. I mean, look at Darren Young's hairstyle in the bottom left. Justin Gabriel looks very uninterested to be there. Second from the right in the bottom. Daniel Bryan looks like he's constipated. And that's just the bottom row. But yeah, so what do you remember when Nexus turned up in 2010? You know, did you think there was hope for, because it was a very unique idea to bring in these kind of 10 guys, majority of them who are green or new to the audience, and kind of put them in this main event spot straight away?
I mean, well, they'd been on the NXT show, hadn't they, which had started, I
Yeah,
believe, in February.
February. Yeah.
So you can understand the story behind it. You know, they're angry. You know, they're sick of doing these stupid challenges and being treated like fools by WWE. They're
Mm-hmm.
rising up. They're taking over. I mean, I thought the original angle they did, where they trashed the ring. I think Cena was in the ring. They beat him up, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah, they beat up Cena, and then that was on the first night was where Daniel Bryan did the tie thing to Justin Roberts, then he got let go.
That's right. Yeah, spat on him and choked him with the tie, and Brian was then fired over it. And obviously, that beating that they inflicted on Cena, well, he paid for that. What do you reckon? 10, 20 times over, Kenny? 50 times over? I mean, my God.
I remember listening to a podcast. I think it was Edge. Edge was doing, and maybe Jericho was doing a podcast with Edge. I think
Yeah,
maybe like 2015, 20. Do you remember this? And
I
they
remember it ringing a
discussed,
bell. It's the
and
SummerSlam DDT spot, isn't it?
yeah, 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 and they discussed that they were backstage at SummerSlam, and there's that famous spot near the end of the match where it comes down to Cena against two members of Nexus. I can't remember who the two were. I think it was Gabriel and Barrett. I want to say, but there was two of them at the end,
I think
and
so,
there's
yeah.
and there's a spot where Cena gets DDT'd in the concrete on the outside, and within something ridiculous like 90 seconds, he had beaten both of them and won the match. And
Yeah.
Edge and Jericho talked about they remember saying to Cena backstage, "This is a bad move. Like, don't do this." And Cena was like, "Well, I think it's going to work and whatever." And you know, Cena, I guess to his credit, did say to them later on, "Yeah, I made a mistake there. That did not work." But I mean, they really needed to win that SummerSlam match, even by shenanigans, because it just that was what needed to happen.
Oh, they were rendered impotent that night by Cena. Absolute destruction. Yeah, I wrote about it at the time. You'll have read it, Kenny. People can
Mm-hmm.
imagine. I mean, the words were dancing off the page. You know, when Cena did something like that, I mean, you know, that was like, I mean, I wasn't celebrating because deep down, seriously, I was really disappointed with what had happened. Not surprised because Cena had form for this type of thing, as we know. But just seeing what they'd done with the Nexus, and it was already sort of falling apart slightly. But the SummerSlam main event, I think they could have turned it around and got a lot more mileage out of the Nexus than they did, and really tried to sort of cement the status of these guys, or enrich them as stars by giving them a big win. And then that would have
Mm-hmm.
set up Raw the next night with Cena coming back vowing revenge. But instead, we had Cena there taking the DDT on the concrete, no selling it, and then beating these two guys in in rapid order. You just felt, yeah, instead of my heart singing, Kenny, my heart sank because Cena did it again. And
I mean, it
really,
felt like
to me,
it, fe-
to me, it
it
was
felt like
over
that
for
was
the
one of the
Nexus after that. It was pretty much
yeah.
over. They did obviously try to keep Barrett strong. I think up until the end of the year when he lost, was it a chairs match to Cena at TLC?
Yeah, TLC, yeah.
So, because they had Cena join the Nexus briefly, but it was kind of tragic to watch, and it just didn't feel believable anymore because we'd seen them lose. And that aura of invincibility they had when they came out on the, June Raw and completely trashed everything, pulled the ring apart, beat everyone up, went to dead air, so it kind of seemed unplanned. I mean, it felt like a special occasion and something really extraordinary, something you only see once every few years. Um, and they just threw it all away at SummerSlam. And yeah, it's really sad looking back. I don't think they ever really recovered from that.